through that first. Resolution authorizing approval to enter into an agreement with Sysnet Solutions to provide consulting and hosting services in an amount not to exceed $37,500. Okay, can we move this to the agenda, or can we ask questions?
Mr. Michello, could you give us a legal opinion?
Absolutely, certainly. I've heard from Mr. Goldstein. I also received his email earlier today. I agree with Mr. Goldstein when he's correct, and I disagree when he's wrong. And this one, I believe that he's wrong. Previously, he had brought a legal contract to our attention, which was then removed from the agenda because of pay-to-play issues, and I agree with him. This one is markedly different, and the reason being is that our pay-to-play ordinance applies to professional services. If you look at the language of 21019, it says professional business entities. 21018 clearly defines what a professional service is. It is a service that requires a professional license. That's generally lawyers, engineers, auditors. Those are generally our three professional services. Our ordinance does not apply to all contracts. It applies to professional service contracts. For that reason, the Sysnet contract is not a professional service, and therefore is not subject to the pay-to-play. On top of that, I know he raised the issue about the fact that this was not publicly bid. The reason it was not publicly bid is because state law allows us, if it has to do with data privacy, as this does, the contract, it has to do specifically with information technology and privacy issues. We are not, and there are proprietary information that would have to be provided by the IT company. That does not have to be bid because it's proprietary in nature, and once it would be part of a bid, it would require that information become public. So the law does allow for that exception to the open public bidding. So this contract did not need to be bid. It does not violate it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have one.
Sure.
So then, in effect, this was one of the mayor's his contribution list?
As I reviewed the ELEC reports that were provided by Mr. Goldstein. I did see a contribution that was
How much? May I ask?
$500.
Aren't insurance services covered under our pay-to-play?
No, I would argue they're not. I would say that's not a professional service.
Did we pass another ordinance to cover insurance services? I thought we did.
We did pass it, but the insurance ordinance merely says that currently insurance is not subject to open public bidding law. The city of Plainfield passed a specific ordinance that required that all our insurance must be bid. Insurance is not, the pay-to-play ordinance is completely separate.
Thank you.
Okay, let's clarify this. So there was no bidding on this?
That's correct, because of the proprietary nature of the information.
What do you mean the proprietary?
Well, basically, as I understand from my conversation with Mr. West, that the information sought, if we were to do it by a bid, would require these IT companies to provide information about how they, proprietary information about their businesses. And therefore, we would not bid that, and we're allowed to by state law if it involves proprietary information.
Okay, it does appear to be a little shady though, when this was an actual business that and there's no bidding, that doesn't look too good to me. I mean, just personally looking at it, even if the law gives you the opportunity to do it, some things that it gives you to do, maybe you shouldn't do. And the problem I have is there's no bidding. And it was a contribution, it makes it appear that it is not just that they got in it because they had some prior connections with the administration. I'm not upset about the bid, the fact that they gave money to the mayor, $500, he needs that money. However, my problem is that there's no bidding, they get the contract, it doesn't look too good, does it?
The only problem is we likely would not get responses to a bid of this nature because it would require them to give out information that they don't publicly disclose.
Well, I'm
And that's
sorry,
why, so,
this is not a good one.
And the pay-to-play is $250, you can only get $250.
no, 300.
$300.
That's correct, yeah, on an annual basis.
This was 500.
This was 5, that's correct. This is not subject to pay to play.
All right.
Can I just give an explanation as to your, it says here, consulting and hosting services. Can somebody just break that down a little bit, for this $37,000? Didn't you give some more money for some consulting and some this and some that?
That wasn't to Sysnet. That consulting
Well, to
money,
whoever.
that consulting money was to NetConnect, and that had to do with the transition from the telephone and you know, telephone infrastructure and the telephone systems that just got.
Does that come under IT, telephone and all that?
Yeah. So that project that you got a report on that was completed, you know, yes, we used a group to help us get that accomplished. Now what we're talking about doing is taking the whole server world and all of the information held by the city. And we're looking to get that consolidated, better protected, and secured going forward.
Didn't you tell us that before, Mr. Webb?
No, not that subject.
You didn't tell me that?
I don't know, I'm not on the
But
servers.
wasn't you supposed to be getting things, or the city was supposed to be getting things together where we can have better systems and,
Yes, and this is a step in that process. This is exactly what that's linked to. The fact that we did make a commitment to make the infrastructure, you know, better protected, to do things in a timelier, better manner. So this is another step. The transition of the network, your telephone network, and all of the cabling,
is this
all
part
that.
of our computer systems and everything?
That's correct. That's correct. This is looking at the servers, the storage, all of the information that's maintained and backed up. We're looking to put in place better procedures going forward, you know, better tools and better equipment so that the city is in a far better shape going
So when
forward.
you say better, that means you'll be back later
Yeah.
to finish it off.
Not on this phase. This phase will be done.
Do you have any plans for the next phase?
There are still other projects. You know, this will take care of us with regard to the servers and all, you know.
So what
through this
server,
year.
and I'm gonna ask this question, the city was hacked and everybody knows it.
That's correct.
Is this gonna help eliminate?
Yes, it will.
So why wasn't that looked at before?
It was looked at before. We had weaknesses in the infrastructure, in the environment. We are taking steps to get all of that fixed. You know, what we're talking about in terms of the hack, there was a file that was contaminated. We don't know how it got in. All we know that in looking, an employee was looking to attach a file to send out to another organization, and all of a sudden, things started happening. We saw
So
files
this
get converted.
$37,000 is just the beginning of safeguarding our systems and computers and all that stuff.
It
What
is
do you
more.
perceive in the future that you're gonna need in addition? You must have some kind of way of knowing that this is the beginning, you said. How much more are you gonna come back and ask for?
We have other projects. On the server front, though, this will be it on the server project for the near term. There are no other plans after this.
You sure?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
please do.
This will also be addressed in the budget hearings, I take it.
Yes.
I think that this is not acceptable. This really needs to be moved off the agenda until we get some clarification about all of this with reference to everything. But we all know what happened. I didn't want to say anything, but she let it out about what happened to us. We've been on television. I think the mayor had to respond about what happened to us in terms of our computer situation. I'd like to, suggest that we move this off the agenda and until we get some clarity on all of this. $37,500 plus why this particular consulting group or company, or I'm not comfortable with this.
I can tell you in terms of that particular company, I do have, numbers in from other companies, and this is substantially less, providing far more. What we're really talking about doing is eliminating the number of, what I'll call servers. The main, assets used to maintain the city's, computer infrastructure. They're the intelligence. We're going to be able to consolidate them and have better service than we're able to provide internally today. And it's going to put us in far better shape. One of the reasons I can commit to not expending a lot of money is that we're paying, to have things hosted. The equipment is going to be paid for by the vendor. We are not buying the equipment. We are getting a solution that's far better than anything I can buy out there. When you start talking about individually just going out and putting pieces together. You know, so this is going to put us in far better shape than this city has been in many, many years.
Mr. West, I just don't feel comfortable with us not, going out to bid, and also, I understand what, Mr. Michello said, but it still seems like we're in violation of our own pay-to-play ordinance that we adopted several years ago. I just, if there's any way we can, go out to bid and then come back to this, or, I don't know whether we can even, hire this company because of the $250 pay-to-play stipulation that's in place. He basically danced around, you're a good lawyer, you could be mine, you could defend me very well. He basically danced around it when he stated that it's not, this doesn't affect them for pay-to-play, but our pay-to-play ordinance specifically states that you cannot go over 250, no, 300, let me get it right, before you're in violation of our own pay-to-play.
Remember, he also said that's for those organizations that qualify for the rules under pay-to-play. This organization does not.
And
I can explain that further, use clarification. Our pay-to-play specifically says that it applies to professional business entities, and professionals are defined by our ordinance as to what is a professional. And a professional is someone who holds a license. That's why. I think what I think is at issue here is that there was an attempt in this ordinance to regulate those who are those particular contracts that were generally not subject to public bid. Okay? And in this case, those are auditors, engineers, and lawyers. That was what it clearly states. If it could have said any business entity, but it didn't. It said professional business entities. So the question is this legal to move forward? Absolutely. This is a legal contract because the law allows us to do it without bidding because of the proprietary nature. And then also, our pay-to-play specifically applies to professional services. This is not
But
one
it
of
is
them.
not ethical in my judgment.
That's a personal
It's
decision.
not ethical, and this is not just about legalities. So come on, it's
So
not ethical.
I want to speak in favor of moving this. I completely understand and agree with the concern about bidding. But our city was attacked, and we suffered some serious damage in terms of information loss and downtime. And now I just saw the mayor on Channel 2 News this evening, right before the meeting. And so Plainfield is like a nationwide advertisement to hackers to come back and go after us again. And the sooner we fix this, the better we're gonna be. So if we come in with a competitive bid of maybe $30,000 and we save $7,500, we're at risk of losing far more than by another attack. So I urge my colleagues, for the future, we need to be stronger on going after bid, but I think on this particular front, we need to fix it without delay. So I hope we will move this forward.
question, Mr. West, there were other municipalities that were hacked also. Did the IT director of, is it proper for, is it you, the director of IT? Did he reach out to the other municipalities to see what, recourse they took when they were hacked?
We looked at other municipalities, we looked at, we had a number of consultants come in at no cost to the city to give us the benefit of their intelligence. I think most of you have heard, we had various law enforcement departments come forward to offer guidance. We've had our insurance agents involved. So we've looked at this fairly thoroughly to try to figure out what we need to do. And in support of what Council President said, a major part of the intent was to get this done so that at the end of next month, we will be in a far better protected environment than we are today. And otherwise, we continue to be at risk because we're not as strong as we need to be. In terms of security and protection, backups.
What do we have in place now?
What do we have in place now?
Yes.
We have a number of servers located on site. We do, backups, but nothing like what we need to be doing, which is, having backups done every day.
So you're saying what this year is desperate?
Yes.
President, I think it's important that we not put whole lot of information out there in terms of the security of our systems. I think that's critically important. I would like to ask Mr. West a question. Did we have any quote from any other entities, and if so, what was the amount?
Yes, I have a quote in the amount of $65,000 for something called managed services, which is a facsimile of what's being proposed, but they were gonna come in and oversee our infrastructure, and that was gonna be the annualized rate for that.
Do you have another one? You have three?
I had a second one. I got quotes for other things, related to data center management, but not specific to the administration of the servers.
And in the future, it will serve the council, or myself, to get all of that backup information so that we can compare when we do not go out to bid. But, we want to keep the city safe also with the information that, we have in the city. But in the future, we could just, in our packets, give us backup information when it's such a need like this.
Absolutely.
I think that we should move this to the agenda. I think that, what the news has said, what we know has happened, in multi-billion-dollar corporations being hacked because of information being compromised. I think that it's really critical to protect our residents, to protect our employees and staff and our city overall. My understanding is Ms. Michello said that this is not covered by pay-to-play, but also it's not a professional services contract as defined. But aside from that, I just think it's very, very important that we not remove this from the agenda, because then we are leaving our city and our residents and our employees very much at risk for whatever might come next. So I hope that my colleagues will agree to put this on the agenda for passage next week. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay,
Just
okay.
have to for it.
All right, let's, do I have consensus to move this to the agenda?
Just to move it, yes.
Yes. Just to move it to the agenda. Resolution authorizing refunds to certain tax accounts due to state tax appeals totaling $53,247.58 in tax reductions as listed on the attached schedule. Do I have permission to move this to you?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing approval to cancel 2016 taxes bill due to an exemption effective January 1st, 2016, and refund payments made for the first quarter as per the attached schedule. Do I have permission to move this to the agenda?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the cancellation and refund of a tax sale lien in the amount of $1,251.83. Can we move this to the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Two, resolution authorizing approval to cancel 2016 first and second quarter taxes billed due to an exemption effective January 1st, 2016. Can we move this to the agenda?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing a refund to surety title due to a duplicate payment of the cancellation fee. Can we move this?
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the submission of an application to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, Division of Housing and Community Resources, Community Services Block Grant Funds, in the amount of $200,000 for the fiscal year 2016. Can we move this to the
Yes.
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 Department of Public Affairs and Safety. Resolution granting authorization for the Plainfield Office of Emergency Management to adopt the Union County countywide hazard mitigation plan. Can we move this to the agenda?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing an agreement with Ragnasoft Incorporated for a 2-year subscription for the Planet Police scheduling management and timekeeping system in the amount of $7,398. May we move this to the agenda?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing approval for the submission of a 2016 Bureau of Justice Technology Innovation for Public Safety Grant. Can I we move this to the
Yes.
agenda.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing approval to apply for a 2016 Bureau of Justice Violent Gang and Guns Grant. Can we move this to the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the renewal for a one-year subscription extension for the document management service in an amount not to exceed $4,941.90. Can we move this to the agenda?
Yes.
Department of Public Works and Urban Development, Y. Resolution authorizing the submission, acceptance, and grant agreement between the NJDEP and the City of Plainfield for a 2016 Community Stewardship Incentive Program Municipal Planting Grant in an amount not to exceed $25,000.
Yes.
Commission will move this to the
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Arista Builders and Designers for the purchase of pool covers for Rushmore, Seidler, and Hannah Atkins Playground and Community Pools. Can we move this as well?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing approval to hang a banner across Park Avenue and East Sixth Street announcing seasonal programs and events for the Division of Parks and Recreation.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the execution of a Meals on Wheels donor agreement for the Senior Citizens Program for the period commencing January 1, 2016 to December 31st, 2016. Can we move that one to the agenda?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing escrow funds for 3 pays as per the attached schedule. Move this to the agenda.
Yes.
Yes.
Introduction of ordinance on first reading, MC 2016-09. And, ready? An ordinance granting Title 39 jurisdiction to the City of Plainfield over roads and parking lots located at the property known as 719-731st, West Front Street, shown on the Plainfield City Tax Map as Block 231, Lot 21. Can we move this to the agenda?
Yes.
Get an explanation on it.
Good evening. This actually gives the police the ability to go onto private property to issue summonses. For example, if you're doing the project, it's going to be done on South Second Street, where you have a warehouse, there could be yield signs, there could be no U-turns, you can't do this and that. So if the police officer was setting off the street and observe a person breaking the law or running a stop sign or a yield sign, then they could issue summonses. That's what that does.
Yes.
Yes, move this to the agenda. MC 2016-10, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 9, Article 15, vehicles for transportation of passengers. Section 28, chauffeur's license renewal. Move this to the agenda. Ordinance, MC 2016-11, an ordinance to amend Chapter 9, permits and regulated activities, Article 17, schedule of licenses and permit fees in the municipal code of the City of Plainfield. Move this to the agenda.
Yes.
An ordinance amending Plainfield Municipal Code, Chapter 8, Health, Article 5, sick leave for private employees to include employees of the City of Plainfield. Before we move that, can we have an explanation?
Absolutely. I just want to note this was done at the request of Councilwoman Rivers. Much of the discussion regarding paid sick leave was, does this apply to to employees of the City of Plainfield? And as it was adopted last month, City of Plainfield employees were exempt from the paid sick leave ordinance. Councilwoman Rivers had approached me about adding the City of Plainfield to the paid sick leave ordinance, and this ordinance amendment does just that. So all employees of the City of Plainfield will be included under the paid sick leave
So
ordinance.
they are not exempt.
They are no longer exempt, that's correct. We cannot pass any regulations with regard to the Board of Education.
Just wanted to ask the question because it was brought up by a speaker.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll wait till they're. When I brought this up as a question, and we talked about Plainfield being covered, we didn't talk about other entities in the city, like the Board of Education, other like public entities. Do we have the power to and I'm not even suggesting it right now, but do we have the power to include them?
That would require some further research. Normally, our ordinances and resolutions do not touch upon the Board of Ed as they're a separate legal entity. However, this ordinance is more far-reaching and doesn't apply to private businesses. So I would like the opportunity to research the question further and get back to the entire governing body on this before giving an opinion.
Yeah, okay, I'm not even advocating at this point that we include it. I'd like this to go forward as amended. So, thank you.
Council President, I should also point out that the administration will, in addition to the Corporation Council, the administration will be consulting with the Corporation Council as well as looking at state statutes. There is something called Title 4A, which in conversations with our HR director, that is something that we need to take a look at. So even if you move forward with this proposed amendment, I would caution that we should look at Title 4A, which pertains to how civil service covered employees are provided for in terms of sick or leave sick days.
So
We'll certainly review that as well.
So we'll have an answer for that before our next session?
Absolutely, by next week.
Okay, thank you.
Can we move this to the agenda?
Yes.
NC 2016-13, an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 5, Animals, Article 7, Rules and Regulations concerning animals of the municipal code of the city of Plainfield. Consensus to move this to the agenda?
Yes.
Thank you. That brings us to our second public comment period. Citizens are welcome to address the council on any governmental item of concern, whether or not it's scheduled on the agenda. We'll hold off for a minute on that public comment. There was a question about enforcement of the anti-tethering ordinance. Could we get a response from the administration on enforcement? The challenges involved with enforcing this ordinance.
Well, I'll answer it from the law enforcement perspective. Obviously, unfortunately, calls for service are priority, first priorities in the police division. We do the best we can to enforce if we can, but I agree wholeheartedly that we need a clear, defined definition to be able to explain to our officers how to enforce what enforcement for some reason. Some officers are animal lovers and they give family members breaks to help out and they will try to have them respect it and say, hey, can you take the dog in? And you come back 2 hours later, the dog's in or not. And you try to work with that. So we'll make an effort to do our best to enforce, but we can't guarantee that we can do it all the time. But however, I think a clear, definitive way to be able to do that will help us a great deal.
And the last question that she asked was about the Humane Society, who has our contract right now, to basically inform them that they don't have time to sit out there and watch animals with their family. I think to the tune, we paid to the tune of maybe almost $200,000, $100,000. I might be the numbers wrong. That might be a little wrong.
$122,000, so. But again, you're talking about trying to keep everyone productive. And so the thing you have to think about is, let's take the 6-hour situation we were talking about today. They have to go and come in and check that. And we've got currently 2 inspectors on the health side and animal control. And it's really just about what else comes up during the time that they're here, and if we can really pin something down. So a change in the ordinance to make it more objective will make it easier to try to take action. And they are more than eager, in Associated Humane and the State Associated Humane Society, we take action when animals are mistreated. And we'll look to make sure we enforce the law.
How often are they here? I mean, they're not.
They're here every day, Monday through Friday. Emergency situations on the weekend.
Some emergency situations on the weekend, because there was a situation where I was called about 10 times because they wouldn't pick up the phone. And they would not pick up the phone, but they couldn't get in contact with the owner there. And there was a dog that, I'm sorry, she was trying to return back to their owner. But because she couldn't get some answers from the Humane Society, the dog had to sit. And this was on the weekend, and she was trying to return the dog back to its owner. That's all. She just wanted to return the dog.
I'd just like to add from a law enforcement perspective, we've been working together as much as we could, and as much as we can.
I'm sorry, Carl, I'm sorry, Dorothy Valley, it wasn't you.
No,
Okay.
I'm explaining to you how we've been doing this to try to minimize this. In the past, the dogs would be brought to police headquarters, then we would call the Humane Society, then they would go down to the Humane side. So what we did to collectively work together, when dogs are found, we notify this agency, and if we can, we try to take a picture. If not, we give them as much information as they can, and they blast it out to the Plainfield residents on their local site, and successfully, they've been locating owners quickly. But we don't always have the ability to do that also.
We had a picture of the dog. We had the owner that wanted the dog. The dog was sitting in a foster care and couldn't return back to his owner because the director of the Humane Society would not contact the owner. This is all I'm saying. All I'm basically stating is that we gotta be a little bit more concerned with the Humane Society, because just say if it was your child, and your child was in foster care, and you know that's your child, you have a picture of him, you want to go get your child back. A lot of these dogs, for instance, my dog, that's my child. So if my dog is, because he does sometimes, we might have got out the backyard and somebody called and said you have a dog loose, and they picked him up, took a picture, sent it around, oh, that's my dog. You know, I'm gonna go up there and wait for my dog, but they wouldn't return phone calls.
What I would tell you is, since this is the first time I'm hearing this, be sure to let me know, because the head of the Associated Humane is here as well. He makes trips, and I just met with him 2 weeks ago, so I'd be more than willing to bring issues to him to get things rectified.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a quick, Council President. I'm a dog lover. I have two, and they treat me better than some people. I saw something on Facebook which I thought was really good. A lady I know, her dog was missing. She was gratefully ill. It hadn't been through Facebook, and I think it was good that the picture was there and someone recognized the dog. And I recognized the area because I lived in that area, but I didn't know who the dog belonged to. But then I later found out the dog had been put back with its rightful owner. So if people could just be a little bit more sensitive about animals and how animal lovers love their dogs, as Councilwoman Brewer said, our animals are like our children, we just can't write them off. But, you know, you love your animals, and it's a good thing when they can be replaced back. And I'm not saying it's an easy job to locate every animal out here that's running around or missed, but for every one or two that can be placed back where they rightfully belong, we just want the ones that's getting paid to feel the way that we do. So I am an animal lover, like I said, so we just appreciate, are you an animal lover?
Okay, animal lovers, raise your hand, we need to move on.
There are no animals
Part of the agenda.
point, but what I do want to say, since it keeps coming up, I do want to go on record to say that, remember, we have 185 dogs and cats registered in this city. So our information is bad. So anything that the public can do to help us, get those dogs and cats registered, will be a major benefit to the city and to those interested parties. You can see that on the marquee outside, we've been saying it's renewal time. So we've got to get serious about it. 185 dogs and cats in the city of Plainfield. 4 cats.
Thank you. And this brings us to the public comment period. During this portion of the agenda, a total of 60 minutes has been allocated. Let's be serious about 60 minutes tonight. All public comments. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium, the microphone, give your name and address. The matter of discussion on any single subject will be limited to 5 minutes.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
My name is Linda Carter. I live in Jeffrey Building, 130 West Front Street, Williamson, New Jersey. And at the last city council meeting, I was just wondering if there's any legal headway with regards to my concern that was addressed at the March 14th meeting.
Could you just specify what the issue is, because I
That
don't
was the
know.
health and safety of my unit,
Okay.
mitigated once,
This is in the ground floor, the basement?
basement.
Yeah.
Mr. President, if I may, we'd love to speak with you after the meeting.
You let us speak?
Yes, address the issue.
Okay.
Johnny Pritchard, 47230 Alexander in Plainfield, grade 2-44 West Holly Street, Cranford. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, at least two things I'd like to go over with you. First of all, we need to back our soldiers, sailors, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and airmen who are doing their duty to defend our nation, thus our way of life and our freedom too. We failed to do that during the war in Vietnam. And during that time, 16 of our Plainfield sons lost their lives fighting for us. The rest of them, when we returned from their tours, they were spat upon and called Nazis, murderers, baby killers, and that was egregious on their part. In their memory, I'll sing. They loved us so, every day in 100 ways, they told us so. The honesty and affection, they told us so. They loved us so, every day in 100 ways, they showed us so. With loyalty and bravery, they showed us so. They are defenders, and they kept us free. They took an oath to guard us and fought for liberty. They loved us so. And we should know. For we love them so. And the other thing, we need to regulate Muhlenberg Hospital. We need that hospital very, very badly. What if another 9/11 attack occurs? Let's not forget that on September 11, 2001, nearly 3,000 people have been slaughtered like hogs in a pen. Soon, and we need to regulate Muhlenberg. If we have to get the county of Union to take over the property there, turn it into a hospital, which we need, that will be fine with us, with me. We need a hospital, and we need badly, we need an ASAP. We're not talking about head colds or earaches, we're talking about many people's lives. And the sooner we activate Muhlenberg, the better off we all will be. Do I make myself clear?
Good evening again, Alan Goldstein, 939 Madison Avenue. I have to apologize for running out of here. I knew I had heard something incorrect, so I ran home, when the city isn't there to get a copy of the ordinance. And this is your ordinance, 21019. And there is nothing in here that excludes or exempts professional service contracts from the head joint law. In fact, it is specifically includes any firm, corporation, professional corporation, limited liability company, partnership, organization, or association. You can read through this, I can leave this with the city clerk, but there's nothing in here. Now, I didn't make the $300 threshold. And the city council didn't make the $300 threshold. The $300 threshold is in the state's head of liability. And I didn't make a question of, that there was, I mentioned the fact that it was not advertised or publicly bid, but I didn't question that because I know there is an exemption. Now, it would be good in all worlds, you know, to get it out here, have 100 people bidding, and that would be the most competitive situation possible. But I understand, you know, the types of services, types of businesses that are exempt from public bidding and advertising. But that doesn't make them an exception to pay to play. There was a big hoop-to-do made 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago, about a local pay to play. It's come up on several occasions since. Even if you got rid of it, this contract would still be in violation of the state's contract. Because we know it's not a fair and open process because there was no advertisement, there was no public bidding. And $500 or $1,000 or $500 a year before is above the threshold. So I think you need to research this a little bit further. I get along very well with Mr. Mincello, and I love it when the two of us are on the same page. But I think in this instance, you know, he was incorrect. You could read it for yourself. Just with that city clerk over here, you can look it up on the city's website. There is nothing in here that excludes professional service company or otherwise from pay-to-play restrictions. Thank you.
Can I respond?
Do you want an opportunity to briefly respond?
If you look at 21018, in the first paragraph in section A, it says professional business entity. It says that throughout the language. I think that Mr. Goldstein, I think we have a disagreement, but I think he's cherry-picked certain language. If you read it, every time it refers to a business entity, it doesn't say business entity, it says professional business entity. If you look at 21018, section before it, it defines what does that mean, professional business entity. So that's all available, and if you look at it, I think the clerk would agree, it says professional business entity in section A.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Marguerite Sitan, I live at 421 West Fifth Street. And my concern is, there's no walking inside of the street parking. On a holiday, the cops are still writing tickets if you park on that side of the street. You can't get a handicap spot when you're handicapped. So where do you park at? There's no parking. The people that live on one street or park on one street when they can't park, and then you come home and you have to park 2 and 3 blocks away and walk at 10 o'clock at night and you're handicapped. I mean, why are they writing a ticket when the city is closed? The city was closed the Saturday after Good Friday. They wrote a ticket. I don't understand that. If the city is closed, why would you get a ticket? They don't come out anyway like they're supposed to sweep the street. I've been living there 15 years, and I've seen the street sweeper 4 times in 15 years. And this is ridiculous to get a ticket the day after Good Friday because there's nowhere to park unless you park and walk 3 blocks. 10 o'clock at night, I cannot do that.
Are you finished? Do you have any more comments?
No, that's it.
Okay. It's my understanding that by action of the council, we can create a handicapped parking space on the street. So, just want to confirm that that's true. And if I do believe it's true, this resident could request, or anybody could request, a handicapped parking space, a sign be put up